Now, with the current COVID-19 alert restrictions and extensive media coverage of the dire situations around the world, most of us are finding it all very stressful and many are experiencing increased anxiety levels. Dr. Francis joins me now with some helpful advice on how we can reduce the stress and cope with these times. Good morning, Dr. Francis.
Good morning, Mel.
So what are the underlying issues causing stress with the lockdown, do you think?
I think the most important thing that causes stress for anybody is lack of control. And how people cope with that is a measure of them and their personality. What we've got here is not just lack of control, but a lot of change that people often don't cope with very well. Unpredictability, not knowing what's going to happen, things changing day by day. People can fear. They can worry about what's going to happen, financial stress, and perhaps also fear of the unseen enemy, the so-called virus.
Absolutely right. I mean, how and why do people react differently to situations like this?
I think it's because we're all made up differently. I think we all have our own way of reacting, particularly when something's beyond our control. There are going to be people who worry excessively, don't sleep, don't eat, catastrophize, glass half empty, not glass half full. There are going to be other people who work harder, try and find problems to solve, try and get around the problem, and other people will get excited and want to spread the news. So there's a lot of different reactions according to the way you tend to do it anyway.
And a lot of people feel that need, they feel that they have to blame others because it's out of their control, so they feel they have to point the finger at people too, don't they?
I think they can. And look at a certain world leader who keeps blaming China. What do we think about China? And, there's going to be so much talk out there because we don't want to think that it's just a force majeure, out of our control. We want to blame someone. Some people are going to be like that.
So how can people approach their own situation then?
Well, I think what's important is that you understand yourself. You know what you tend to do when something nobody's ever had anything like this that we can remember. It's so unique, isn't it? It's not a war. It's not like a war. It's so unique, but it certainly is scary. So what do you tend to do? You have to identify what you do that tends to then make it counterproductive for you, that then causes you to become unwell, anxious, and stressed. And the first thing that you can do to help you identify what you're doing to yourself is to start monitoring your thoughts.
How do you monitor your thoughts?
Well, you see, your thoughts come first and then your emotions follow. You think a thought up here and then your body feels the emotion. Your emotions are really in your body. And so a good way to start to become aware of your thoughts is to do any sort of repetitive rhythmic type activity, like go on your machine at home, do a meditation, do some yoga. Any of these repetitive meditative activities where you have to keep leaving your thoughts and come back to what you're doing, like a meditation, that then makes you much better at concentrating, calming down, and then becoming aware of your thoughts.
Great time to start meditating. What about keeping things in perspective?
Yes, now that's a very, very good thing to try and remember. If you like to pray, you give gratitude. I think remembering what you have got is very important, and not thinking and fearing about something that may happen to you that is unlikely to, the likelihood is very low. So remember that we're in New Zealand. Remember that we've done so much better than all the other countries. We're so lucky to be far away from where the main action is. We're so lucky that we're going early and hard on this so that we'll come out of it better. This too will pass. So remembering what you have got, not fearing what you don't know you'll even get.
Okay. So what are some other ways that we could look at things?
Well, I think it's about focusing on the moment or on the day at hand. not getting tempted to think about the future too much, because at the moment we have to go day to day anyway. So live your day in day-type compartments, and then within that day in moments. Because if you don't do that, you're going to worry about things that are never going to happen, and it's going to ruin your life every minute of every day. You're going to be miserable and upset. It takes a lot of discipline to keep it all in-house as you go through moment to moment. Now, this is where meditation and any sort of meditative activity can be quite helpful.
Right. Have you got any final thoughts for us, Frances, on what we can be doing?
Yes, I think it's about humour, being kind to each other, not avoid negative talk, be respectful, be positive, and seek support if you need it on the phone, online, or from your health providers.
Thanks so much, Dr. Frances. And if you are concerned about anything that we have discussed, please contact your own healthcare professional. And of course, for more information about COVID-19, you can go to the official website. It's very good, covid19.govt.nz.